Amen. All right, so you want to prepare for the coronavirus. Fine, sure, good. Now, this is a beginner's guide. If you're an expert, move on. This isn't for you. But for those of you, and suddenly prepping is cool again. The coronavirus has made prepping cool again. So if you're one of these newbies who wants to start prepping for the coronavirus, I have hopefully they're words of wisdom I'd like to share with you. This is your beginner's guide. This is prepping for the coronavirus, a beginner's guide. All right. So now the most important thing you need starts with a D. It's a D word, and we're not going to talk about it first. You got to stay towards the end to find out what the D word is. The most important prep you could possibly have. It's the D word. So stick with me. Okay. So you want to prep for the coronavirus? Fine. Good. My first question is, what took you so long? Why now? But you're here. That's good. That's fine. Prepping is good. Being prepared is good. Because unprepared people get scared, and scared people make stupid decisions. So you're taking a step towards not being scared, which is a step towards not doing stupid stuff. So we're glad to have you. The next step from that question, why now, is what hasn't scared you up to this point? No, not scared, I'm sorry. What hasn't worried you up to this point that this suddenly would? There's some true fragilities in the world, and many of them have much more dire consequences than this virus does. And the only reason I bring this up, because if this virus blows over, or when this virus blows over, because it will blow over, even the Black Death blew over, will you be done prepping? Will you be suddenly done? And my hope is that you will not. But be that as it may, you're here now, so let's get started. Okay, so what's the first thing you don't need? You do not need gear. You don't need gear. Please don't run out and start buying a bunch of gear. Now, C103, if you're involved in our community, and if you're watching this video, you're not, because this is for beginners, but our community, we have one of our real respected guys goes by the name C103, and he just went out today and bought a juicer. Actually, he calls it a juicer. He called it an antique juicer. I call it a press. We used to call them presses. And it's just, you put stuff in there and you press the juice. That's not buying gear. That is buying gear, but it's not running out and buying gear. This is, he's been working on this old school self-sufficiency thing for a long time. That's not running out and buying gear. When I talk about running out and buying, don't run out and buy gear. Don't run out and buy. You don't need to run out and buy junk, cheap plastic junk. I tell you, funny story. Well, funny to me. My first wife and my children from that marriage watch these videos, so I'm not speaking ill of this family. It's just a story. When Y2K hit, as a family, we decided to prepare. And I was a young man, and my idea of preparedness was to go out and buy a Mini 14 and 2,000 rounds of ammunition. That's not preparedness. It's a good idea, but that's not being prepared. My father-in-law's idea at the time of preparedness was to go out and buy the craziest knives you've ever seen. You like eagle head, giant Bowie knives with eagle heads and all this. Now that wasn't all they did, but neither one of us were prepared. We went out and bought junk, but we weren't prepared. I guess here's our shameless plug. If you really are new to this, and I question, go get a book. Get a good book. Don't get a crazy, stupid, weirdo specialist book. Don't go buy a book prepping for the EPMP, prepping for the whatever. Get a good general book. I just got this one recently, and I'm going to do a whole video on this book at some point. It's excellent. It's very simple. It's very plain. It's not this gigantic dump of knowledge on you, but you read this book and you come out with a plan, a good plan, and simple steps you can take. So, the big thing we're facing right now, supposedly, is a 2-week the CDC is calling it an interruption in your life, what it is a 2-week lockdown. They haven't really said that they're going to try to make it mandatory, what kind of enforcement or teeth they might put behind this thing, but they're telling everyone to be prepared to live for 2 weeks in your home without being able to go out. So we're seeing a run on toilet paper and a run on Campbell's soup and all this stuff. Those of us who are been doing this for a while, and I don't even call myself a prepper anymore. I've kind of come through prepper, and I'm almost prepped. We're working on self-sufficiency now. 2 weeks is nothing. I checked up with some of my local group here, and I was like, hey, you guys good for 2 weeks? And most of them were like, 2 weeks? I don't think that's vacation, you know, that's nothing. But you need 2 weeks of food. I mean, that's just good stewardship. No, that's housekeeping. That's just good housekeeping. 2 weeks food. I mean, you don't need to run to the grocery store every day. I know multiple guys who have a year's worth of food. That's just in rotation. Like one guy has a year's worth of chocolate syrup. I mean, he's got the year's worth of his whole pantry. His whole pantry is for a year. So things like chocolate syrup or anything, that's just the one that sticks in my mind. But it's everything. It's not just beans and rice. His diet, what they eat, you know, their regular pantry is stocked for a year. And when they go grocery shopping, they just replace what they ate that week. You know, they put the new stuff on the back and pull everything forward. He could eat for a year and not have any change in his diet. Now you're starting to talk about prepped. But you don't need junk, you need food. You need food, water, shelter. And you know what, gear is nice. There's no, I mean, if you've got that food, water, shelter, and you've got the money to burn, sure, go buy some gear. You know, 2,000 rounds of ammunition is really nice to have. I don't have it anymore. I had to sell it when that first marriage disintegrated, and I got some money trouble. But you know what? 2,000 rounds of ammunition is not too much. But that's not your first priority. Your first priority is food, water, shelter. And if you don't have those things secured, that's where you start. My guess is most of you, if any beginners are even watching this, you know, for the vast majority of you, there's going to be this panic and it's going to be over. We saw this at Y2K. We see this, you know, with the SARS virus and the Zika virus and the West Nile virus and bird flu, swine flu, you know, all the rest of them, Ebola, you know, hemorrhagic fever. You know, every year or so, every other year or so, another one of these viruses or diseases goes viral. Listen to me. The virus goes viral, and we're all going to die. We're all going to die, and we never die. Saying that, though, we are all going to die one day, I mean, not even. The tragedy is, crisis is going to hit one day. It is. It may not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but we know it will. You know, we can look in the very recent past. You know, the Spanish flu wasn't that long ago. Africa's not that far away, and Ebola and that stuff. But I worry that a lot of you are going to get spun up about this coronavirus, this COVID-19 they're calling it, and you're going to run out and buy 6 months worth of toilet paper and some gear you don't need. And when this particular threat subsides, just like what happened with Y2K, everyone's going to go, oh, well, it's all a big joke. It's no big deal, and wander off. We're almost getting to the D word. The other thing I would ask you to consider, and you see it a lot, maybe not a lot, but everyone who's been in the prepper community for any amount of time knows that those people who have made prepping their life is to be prepped. And they go, you've seen Doomsday Preppers on TV, those people. Prepping becomes your life. You prep in order to live your life. You don't turn your life into preparing. You prepare so you can have a life. And so most of you aren't going to be going crazy. Actually, a lot of you are going, but most of you aren't going to go all the way out into the desert and set up a bunker. Which isn't necessarily a bad idea, but you got to do it thoughtfully and ahead of time and for good reasons, and not because you're scared and you're running. You're scared people do stupid things. You need to be prepared enough to not be scared. Peace through strength. If you want to have peace, you got to be strong. Preparedness is just about being strong. Okay, so what's the D word? The most important thing a prepper can have: discernment. This is so important because, like we see when people panic and run, something like we got some guys talking right now. This coronavirus, it's had a very low death rate, a very low death rate. It doesn't even compare to the normal flu season. I mean, it hasn't even touched a normal season. I mean, it's not even close to a normal flu season. And they're talking about taking cash out of the system, or we're all trying to go cashless, and they're trying to change. Don't shake hands anymore. I mean, they're talking about these major changes locking people down for 2 weeks for a disease that so far that hasn't proven to be all that dangerous. Now, China could be hiding all the numbers, and it could be bad, and one day one will be. I'm not telling you not to worry about this. That's not a big deal. But we need discernment in the face of the Chicken Littles. We are ruled by people. Well, I wouldn't say ruled. We're oppressed by people who never want to let a crisis go to waste. They always want to somehow advance their power through the misfortunes of others. And it really feels like this is another one of those times where, there's a crisis. What can we grab? There could be a power grab, hidden behind what could be a real crisis. It could be. You never want to sit in the seat of the scoffer. You never want to completely discount these things, because one day it is going to hit, and this could be the one. It could be. We don't have any. We can't really say that it won't yet. My gut is that the threat for this, and I should have put this at the start of the video, the threat this time is from the Sheeple stampeding. And if you're new to the community, Sheeple is what we call people maybe like you, or you certainly know people who we describe as Sheeple. They follow. Now, you're wanting to prep for this thing. Maybe you've quit being a Sheeple. Maybe you've come out of the herd. But, the Sheeple, blindly follow the shepherd straight to the slaughterhouse. And sometimes they stampede. Or, sheep are so stupid on a windy night. If wind's blowing, it'll be rough when they're wool. And so they just start walking to get away from it. And the whole herd will walk off a cliff. I've heard of that. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a really good analogy. Those are Sheeple. So you've already shown a desire not to be one of the Sheeple, but you need discernment. Just being a Sheeple in a different direction from the herd, you're still a Sheeple. And instead of walking off the cliff with the herd, you get picked off by a wolf, coyote. So discernment, and that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to develop, especially when you're new to a community or a way of thought or a way of life, and you haven't learned all the lessons. That's why I'll plug this book again. I didn't tell you about it earlier. Again, in our community, Pastor Joe Fox is a highly respected figure. He wrote this book, Survivalist Family. I will be doing a video on it. I read it. I expected it to be good. I was shocked at how simple, straightforward, and effective it was. It was and comprehensive. It was really, 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 really good. And so if you need a place to start, this would be a good place to start. Survivalist Family, Prepared Americans for a Strong America. You can get it on Amazon. I think it was $12. So there you go. Welcome to the community. We're glad to have you. We hope you strengthen us. We hope we strengthen you. Please don't panic. Don't be a Sheeple in a different herd. Be calm. Practice discernment and discretion, and don't blow all your money on gear, because ultimately what you want to blow your money on is land, so you can get out of wherever you're at and get somewhere safe. Men, we appreciate you. Thank you.